It looks like a battlefield, but it's actually a training exercise for Tiger combat helicopters in eastern Germany. These models have been part of NATO's Rapid Response Force since January, but their 1980s technology is outdated and urgently needs to be upgraded for better self-defense. They don't quite stack up to the superior protective measures of potential opponents.
We're very vulnerable. This isn't a flying tank, even if it looks like it. We stay a bit more in the background and take action from there, but nonetheless, we do want to make an impact on the enemy.
The main concern is that the helicopters could get damaged or break down. Maintenance and repair costs are already significant. Just a dozen of 51 Tigers are ready for combat. And there are also issues with weapons malfunctioning.
The problem is that the gun cartridges that are supplied are of differing lengths. There's been an issue, and in this case, it caused the cartridge to move incorrectly, thereby destroying the entire casing.
Machine gun training has been cancelled for now, but it's not just faulty cartridges that have been causing problems. Germany's army, the Bundeswehr, also doesn't have enough ammunition to begin with. Some regiments do have new equipment, but there's only enough for those in the NATO Rapid Response Force. It's not standard for the German army.
So first of all, I would like to highlight U.S. European Command's statement released earlier today confirming that 2 Russian Su-27 aircraft conducted unsafe and unprofessional intercept with a U.S. Air Force intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance unmanned MQ-9 aircraft that was operating within international airspace over the Black Sea today. To recap, at approximately 7:03 a.m. Central European Time, one of the Russian Su-27 aircraft struck the propeller of the MQ-9, causing U.S. forces to have to bring the MQ-9 down in international waters. Several times before the collision, the Su-27s dumped fuel on and flew in front of the MQ-9 in a reckless and unprofessional manner. This incident demonstrates a lack of competence in addition to being unsafe and unprofessional. U.S. Air Forces in Europe, Air Forces Africa routinely fly aircraft throughout Europe, over sovereign territory and throughout international airspace in coordination with applicable host nation and international laws. In order to bolster collective European defense and security, these missions support allied, partner, and U.S. national objectives. As the U.S. Air Forces in Europe, Air Forces Africa Commander emphasized in European Command statement, quote, U.S. and allied aircraft will continue to operate in international airspace, and we call on the Russians to conduct themselves professionally and safely.
A Belarusian president is in Iran, and the visit comes after all of 15 years. President Lukashenko of Belarus and President Raisi of Iran have reaffirmed close ties at a time when the two countries are at odds with the West, especially over the Russia-Ukraine war. Lukashenko arrived in Iran late on Sunday for a 2-day visit. His visit marks only the third such instance in the Iran-Belarus diplomatic history. In Iran, Lukashenko praised the perseverance with which the country resisted external pressures. Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, on his part, hailed 3 decades of close ties with Belarus. The dignitaries signed multiple cooperation agreements, including joint industrial, agricultural, transportation and logistics projects. Raisi said their economic partnership was stronger than ever. The economies of the two countries have been hit by Western sanctions in recent years.
جمهوری اسلامی ایران علیرغم تهدیدها و تحریم‌ها در این مدت تونسته گام‌های بلندی رو در جهت پیشرفت برداره و از تحریم‌ها برای خودش فرصت‌ها ایجاد کرده.
Отрадно, что у нас схожие позиции и подходы ко многим вопросам международной повестки дня. Главное, что Беларусь и Иран привержены идее построения справедливого многополярного мира.
Competition between the world's superpowers is intensifying.
How close are we to all-out conflict?
The war in Ukraine has entered its second year.
Europe's largest conflict since World War II.
Japan has announced the biggest military build-up since the Second World War. China is making moves in its region, particularly in relation to Taiwan.
On the question of Taiwan, there's no room for compromise.
Now, countries are taking sides in ways we haven't seen for a long time. China has formed a no-limits partnership with Russia. The United States, on the other hand, has teamed up with the UK and
that fell down under
to form the AUKUS alliance, a three-way partnership of old allies. The announcement of a new nuclear submarine deal between the trio has increased tensions.
We urge the United States, Britain and Australia to abandon the Cold War mentality and zero-sum game.
But is all this necessary?